Howdy. Wanted to show you this Firestar Plus 9mm. This is an import through Interarms that used to be in Virginia. This is a Spanish-made handgun. They made a full line of handguns in 9mm, 40, and 45. They were imports. The company that was importing, Interarms, went under apparently back in the 90s, and so you can't find these new in the States anymore. Let's do a quick function check. Empty, mag out. This isn't a bad little handgun overall. A few things I like and dislike about it. We'll start with the magazine. Magazine is just a 10 round mag, no markings on it for round counts or anything. I just had to start pushing rounds into it until I couldn't get any more in. Stopped at 10. This is one that came originally with it. It's one I keep my hollow points in. And the second one I got from a gun show about a year ago or so. It's kind of difficult to find the mags for it too. I've had a difficult time finding those. Let's see here. It's a single action pistol. Again, chamber's clear. Single action. Oh, another real quick. That's a good example. The handgun won't fire without a magazine in it. So even if there's a round in the chamber, pull the trigger as much as you want, and the hammer won't drop. So you've got to have a mag in the mag well, and then the hammer will drop. So that's actually one safety feature that I really like about this particular handgun. Another one that I like is if you're carrying this cock and lock, 1911 style, and you want to lower the hammer because there's no decock lever. You pull the hammer back, depress the trigger, and you let the hammer down. Now, I discovered that if you're letting the hammer down, you let your finger off the trigger, and you're letting it down, and it slits, the hammer stops. You hear that kind of a dull thud, as opposed to a sharp click as you hear the hammer hit the firing pin. I realized that as long as you let go of the trigger, and if the hammer slips from your thumb, it won't strike the firing pin and thus discharging the round, causing an accidental discharge. So that's another little nice feature that I kind of like about this little handgun. Another thing that I really like about it is when I point with it, it points very naturally for me. The beaver tail in the back I think is a little low. I don't get a real good comfortable grip when I'm really trying to get my hand in there. But overall, the gun points naturally for me, which I really like. Aside from the weight, this thing is fairly hefty. I don't know how heavy it is, but it is kind of heavy, particularly with a full magazine. It's not one that I'd want to carry around all day. But the thing I don't like, and I'll point at the camera so you kind of have an idea, is there's a little nub right here. Oh, wrong side of the gun. There we go. This little nub is a part of the takedown for field stripping. What you have to do is on the this side of the firearm, you see these two little white lines here. Well, when you drop the magazine and you've got the safety down, you have to pull the slide back to where those two lines match up, and you push that nub, and pops the slide stop off, and then you can separate the slides from the frame. The thing I don't like about that is that aside from having to have a separate part of the gun removed when you're field stripping, which makes it potentially easy to lose if you're in the field and you've got a field strip and clean, is that it makes it difficult to find formed holsters for this. I did a lot of research trying to find a good like Kydex or leather holster that has been formed for a particular firearm, and I found that this Firestar is fairly similar in dimensions to SIGs, but because of this nub, it won't fit, because none of the SIGs have a nice big fat little nub coming off the side of the slide. So those are really the main points I wanted to hit. My likes and my dislikes. It shoots fairly well. It's not the best shooting handgun in the world, but you know what it'll do inside of 10 or 15 yards. So there it is. Guys got any questions, let me know.